So anyhow, very good afternoon. Don't waste your time and energy on something which is not important for you. Thank you very much to be here to listen to me. And I'm almost like a post-lunch session where people are tired of listening. Even in college, that happens to us, isn't it? So I must thank both Hasmukh Bhai and Sudhir Bhai for inviting me to speak here. I think soul, everybody has spoken a lot about it, but it's about leadership, isn't it? Now, leadership, if you see, has undergone a change over the last 2 decades. Originally, people were talking leaders are born, isn't it? That's what we heard very, very early times. It's no longer the case. Leaders are made, and now leaders are evolving. So things have changed over decades that no longer the leaders are born, leaders are actually made through several things happen. Also important to understand that leadership and management are different words. And I think in the morning it was explained to you, but I think please understand, getting into an MBA program does not become you leader. A leader is much different. You don't require an MBA to become a leader. But you become a leader, because you are MBA, you will be leader. I don't think that is the truth. And I think that's where, if you see the over a period of time, as leadership has evolved, I think what has today happened is leader has become a planner, and he has become a kind of a person who is a coach, who creates teams to make that happen. When we look at that and look at the current environment around the world, you know, there is one side climate crisis, the other side we are talking about automation and digitization, the new advent of AI, the healthcare challenges which we are talking about, the geopolitical disturbance, and I love tariff. You all heard that? Correct? I love tariff, the beautiful word. So I think the point is, things are changing in this era, and the leadership also is evolving and changing in this newer era. Let me go back now to share with you some of my experiences in life, and that might be some learning for you as well. And I will start with something which is very important for all of you to understand. Why was Prime Minister was here in the morning and spending time with you? He's the Prime Minister of India. He is 3rd term Prime Minister of India. He'll be even 4th term also. The question is, why should he come here and talk to you? But he is a person who thinks that I have to create leaders. I have to help people to become leaders, because this country has a great future, but without leaders it cannot happen. And how he is conscious about this, I'll give you an example. All of us suffer because of COVID. Before COVID happened, somewhere in November, December time frame, he invited all pharma leaders to come and meet him. And we were surprised why was this call. And the call was saying that there is something happening in China. People are talking that it might become a worldwide crisis, and we should be as a country prepared to face it. Imagine the visionary aspect of this leader, thinking ahead of time. When actually lockdown happened, one day I was like at home, about to go to bed, my phone rang. And the phone rang, I lifted the phone, it was from a Delhi number, and the other side was Prime Minister. And the point he said is, भैया, कोविड का प्रॉब्लम हुआ है, अभी एक ही दवाई की बात चल रही है, तो इसको कैसे हम सप्लाई करेंगे? बोला, सर, no problem, we have enough capacity, our industry is capable, we will supply to India. इसलिए मैंने तो फोन नहीं किया. I called you because I have to serve the world. I have to supply this medicine to the world. The point to be understood is that That is the quality of leader. So if you don't have this kind of humility, thinking about masses and classes across your population, your country, and even the world as a large, you cannot become a leader. So the point would be, and I think a lot of people have said since morning about this, that you need to have that humility, you need to have that vision, the magnanimity, think about not only you, not only but your family, not about your city or society or state, but whole world as a university. The other is that example I will take from my own learning is that at that time, as an organization, we had a meeting to discuss what can we do to help. Supplying some medicine was a normal job which we are doing. And that time we said, yes, we should do something for vaccine and we should do something for treatment. And the reason was that when swine flu hit India, fortunately not that bad, we were the only company who developed immediately vaccine in 8 months and put in the market. And of course, fortunately, we were all saved. And we said, we must do vaccine, but a different approach. We created a technology today. That technology is going to be available for any pandemic in future. But not only that, we said it is not enough. Treatment, people won't have income. People won't have it. How do you think about our society? And my team told me, sir, this is the time to give back. And we said, and everybody is selling remdesivir injection at 5,000 rupees, we launched at below 900 rupees. The point was simple. That time, it was not a priority to make profit, but priority was how do you help the society at large. The other thing which came up is that India was pharmacy of the world. Yeah, but that is good. Question is, can India is going to benefit from the drug discovery in the West and do making drug in India, make it at lower cost and in the process offer the drug, or India can also contribute to the knowledge and wealth of new drugs in the world. We decided as an organization that we have to create this capability. We focused on capability building. We focused on creating teams which are committed, and we said we will make a long-term commitment to make this happen. Today, we are the only company in India who has the full capability of a drug discovery, be it an animal testing or be it in. And the success is not in one day. Everybody in the world told me at that time, including big consulting firms, say that it requires $1 billion to discover a drug. So what happens? Everybody will, you will say, where do I have $1 billion? My company's turnover is less than $1 billion. How do I think about doing a research expenditure of $1 billion? But that's a myth. If this is a myth which the West has spreaded. Everything is very expensive, very difficult, they use jargons to make it more difficult. You cannot do it. The Chinese proved them wrong, isn't it? With AI, correct? What I'm trying to say is, that's the reality. Don't accept if people say something that this is so difficult to do it or you cannot do it because you require so much resources and that. Everything is possible. Not that everybody will be able to do it, but at appropriate time in your journey life, you will be able to do whatever is your desire is there. And that's what we focused on. We created capability. We said, we are not going to do it in West. We are going to do it in India. We will take the advantage India and make things happen. And today, we have 2 NCEs approved in India. 1 is now getting approval in US and in the rest of the world. 1, in fact, in China and so on and so forth. The point I'm trying to raise here is that if you want to do it, then you can do it. But don't get influenced by people, so-called gurus, who come and tell you, you cannot do this, or you need so much to do this. You require 10,000 people to make a project. Why? That question should come to your mind and not think that, no, I am going to do that. Other thing is which we always think about is that I want to get into a particular business line. Then what the next thing I think? What is my next door neighbor is doing? Or what is the most successful company in India is doing? It's a 100% formula to fail. Because you're copying somebody. You cannot be better than the copy, you know? Correct? So the point I one wanted to understand, that copying something is not going to help you. But it's going to help you if you think out of the box. Let me give you one example, or two examples. A challenge was thrown to me that you have to create a hospital and a medical school in a tribal district of Gujarat. And everybody said it's very difficult to do a hospital there. There is people who not educated. They will come with bone and arrow at the hospital. You will have a lot of issues and problems. So easy is to say very difficult, I don't want to do it. We said, no, we will do it. And we realized that if we want to become successful here, we have to show them the value, what we bring in. We created that. Fortunately, we had enough resources to do that, make that happen. But we treated every patient till today free of charge. And what happened is that in the process, now with the PMJY coming in, the hospital almost runs on its own. But the point I'm trying to say is that you need to think about changing the environment. Typically, if you set up a medical hospital, you will say, I will charge. But had I done it, I would not have been successful. Then I realized that a middle class, all of you sitting here, has a pain when you go to hospital and pay the bill, isn't it? Correct? Everybody crips about it. And why are you cripping about it? Because he said, मैं गया था, मुझे 1 लाख रुपए में काम हो जाना था, मेरा भी 1.5 लाख का बिल आ गया. 1 लाख का प्रॉब्लम है, 50,000 प्रॉब्लम कर रहा है. इवन 1,10,000 होगा तो 10,000 प्रॉब्लम कर रहा है आपको. Because आप 1 लाख की तैयारी करके गए थे. So when I thought that there is a problem, how do you solve the problem? And we said, we are going to create hospitals which is made for people who can afford to pay, but do not want to feel not getting service or get cheated. And we created a different model which everybody else not doing it. A said, we will not promote. B, we will not go to anybody to say, send your patient to my hospital. And I will not do any sales promotion activity, which is a huge cost. Second, I said, I would only have patient as my customer, as my guru, and nobody else is my guru. And I will do anything for the patient, but nothing else. And we created a system where if there is a surgery, there is a cost attached to it, it is fixed, and nothing else is paid. And the hospital people said, but sir, sometimes they stay longer and this. I said, that's your mistake. You didn't do thing right. That's why it happened. And then everybody says, no, it's not possible, sir. I said, wait, do it. And they realized that hardly in 1 or 2% case, you exceed that number. But for 2%, why do you punish? But you create, so the kind of thing you do, I'm just giving example, that where you try to do even a business which is already existing, you think about something different. Moment you do something different, there is better reception, better acceptance, and in the result, the hospitals which we created became the best hospital for last 6 years. And it will continue to happen in going forward as well. The other thing is, and I think a lot of people have talked about value. So I think we all know that value is very important. But another important part is culture. When you create a team, the culture of the team is the most important part, because that becomes your DNA. That culture makes you sustainable as a team and going forward. Now, how do you build culture? So in an industry which I am representing, pharmaceuticals, and you might have read in newspaper all the time, no, FDA came and punished this company and FDA has this problem. quality problems. You have read this enough in newspaper, isn't it? Correct? The point what we did is, how do you build culture? We decided to think about it. Created almost 300 teams. These teams have job to meet every day morning to discuss quality for first 10 minutes. They talk about what went right and what did not go right. What can be done better? And that became continuously DNA of the organization. And that's the way you build culture, where people think that yes, quality is very important. But if you tell people and preach them, oh, you have to be quality conscious. Somebody said in the morning, no, चाल से नहीं चलेगा. Correct? जुगाड़ नहीं चलेगा. These are the words we have invented in India. But we have to get out of these words, isn't it? If we want to become global, if we want to become successful, then we need to do this. If you don't do this, then it's very difficult for us to actually create world leaders out of you. The other is, of course, the values. And the values becomes a very important part of any organization. And there, something which we very proudly say and do is that not only we do execute well, do everything, I think what we do is, how do you create your people? We in an organization say, we build people to build our business. We believe that people is the only resource I have. Rest of them are available freely. You will say, "Hey, money kahan hai, sir?" But it is, if you have people, money will come. If you have idea, money will come. But if you don't have people, nothing can be done. So people is the most important resources. And we said, how do you create your place where people will love to work? So when we made our new office, the architect met me and said, "Sir, what is your brief?" I said, "I have one-liner. The place of my office should be better than my home." He said, "Why?" All of you, when you go to work, you spend most of the time in the office or at the workplace. Then you come home, have dinner, so gaya. Kuch dekha nahi. Morning again, wake up, get ready, and go to work. Most of your time which you spend when you're awake is in the office. It should be better than the home, so that you feel like going there. Otherwise, आज school नहीं जाना है. हाँ? बच्चे करते हैं? हाँ? Same thing happens. So create environment which is conducive to your people. I'm giving an example, but I can tell you so many other things about it. But try to understand, create environment which happen. The other is, nothing is constant. Things are changing very rapidly. And everybody said, what do we do that? I think change management becomes a very important part. What we followed as an organization, 4 things. A, any change decision should be collective decision. It should not be my decision. It should not be his decision. It should be our decision. So that's the first thing. But when you do the change discussion on change, when everybody is consciously convinced that, yes, this is a way to move forward, communicate it well to the team. And then, of course, execute through a phase-wise planning. Now, most of the time, people change things without explaining why you want to change. You don't take your team with you and do changes. Then things occur. But change has to happen because we live in a world where everything is changing so rapidly. And things are going to change even much faster now with what is happening around the world. And that's why it's going to be important. And as a result, my own organization has undergone every 5 year a change. But every 5 year change was also created through a kind of system which makes sure that everybody is in part of it, and they go ahead with that successfully as we move forward. I can keep on going more, but I think I will just say finally a few words. At the core of anything you do in life is people. It's learning and experience which you get. How can it be useful to public good? And you said, you are a business, you have to make profit. But you can make money if you do public good. Don't think that doing public good, you cannot make money. You can. And that's why, to make our dream of Viksit Bharat 2047, we need honesty and integrity in our country. We all have to have a passion for welfare of everybody. We need to have capability to take bold decision, but in a consultative way, and should be capable to create changes at the grassroots level. Long time we have spoken, but I think young people like you, we look forward at you that we have failed, but you will be successful because you have the energy, you have the environment where you can change India and make Viksit Bharat. Thank you very much.
Hello. Yeah. Good evening, sir. So, my question to you was that as in your profession and as in your multi-billion-dollar business, there is very less margin of error and there are high chances of pressure. So, what I think is, as you are such a successful leader, what I think is that there is always a room for some inspiration. So, sir, what is the inspiration for you? Is it the good for people? Is it some person? So, how do you find inspiration where you take bold calls or where you aim for success? And who is your inspiration?
So creating something new is my passion. And creating something which others have not done or challenging the status quo is my passion. And I like to do this.
Good evening, sir. My name is Masood Ahmed and I'm from Chhattisgarh. Sir, what is the biggest challenge you face in staying disciplined, sir?
No, I think there are a lot of short-term shortcuts available in life.
Yes, sir.
And you can get very attracted to that. If you avoid it, you can become successful. But if you not avoid it, then you can. So I have always said that we have avoided all those shortcuts and taken a long cut. So not looked at whether every quarter there is a better profit or but we always looked at whether we have made progress, whether we have made the progress in the right way.
Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Nitin Kumar Chopra. I am also a pharmaceutical sciences student. I have two questions for you. My first question is, as research and development is a money-burning field and it leads to a lot of failures. So how do you, as the leader of such a big group, handle the failures of the research and development? And second question is, India is one of the largest manufacturing hub for pharmaceutical products, but it lacks in research and development field on a global scale. So how do you, as a leader, sees India as the top global manufacturing house? Thank you, sir.
So I got two questions. So first of all, let me address research first. I believe India can deliver 100 new chemical entities or new drugs in the world by 2047. Of course, it would require effort.
Yes,
Honorable Prime Minister in the morning talked about innovation. Innovation is possible. You, as a pharmaceutical scientist, is capable of doing it, provided you have an environment, ecosystem to make that happen. And I think that's what we all are trying to create now. And I'm very positive about it that it will happen. Question is, if you say it's so difficult, as somebody told me long back, that $1 billion is required, it's not so. The second question you said about failure. I think in our organization, any research project which is failed, we celebrate. I tell everybody who comes back and said, this project has failed, I said, thank you very much. We said, usko shabashi dete hain. Because I think, as they said, no, failure is the first step to success. In research, even is much more. And I think this is the real. And not only in India, one of the most successful country which has been very high in research is Israel. Yeah. You have heard about, right? In Israel, this is a common thing. The country as a whole celebrates failures. And that's why they are ahead in technology, far ahead with many, many other countries. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.